There's a woman in Denmark who owns almost nothing. No new car, no designer clothes, a small apartment, a modest job. And in nearly every global happiness study for the last decade, people who live like her, ordinary, unremarkable, quiet lives, keep scoring higher on happiness than people earning 10 times more. Not because they got lucky, not because life was easier for them, because of 7 small things they do, almost without thinking, every single day. Today, you're going to learn all 7. And by the end of this video, you'll realize happiness was never about what you're missing. It was about what you're missing, doing. Welcome back to Wisdom of Humanity, the place where timeless truths meet modern life. If you're new here, we dig into the ideas that have quietly shaped happier, calmer, more grounded human beings for thousands of years, and translate them into things you can actually use today. If that sounds like your kind of channel, consider subscribing. It genuinely helps us keep making these. Now let's get into it. For most of human history, happiness wasn't chased. It was assumed to arrive after the harvest, after the war ended, after the children grew up. Today we chase it directly. We buy things to feel it. We scroll for it. We wait for weekends, promotions, vacations, convinced happiness is out there, one achievement away. But researchers who've spent decades studying the happiest populations on Earth, and from Danish villages to Okinawan elders to Costa Rican fishermen, found something almost embarrassing in its simplicity. Happiness wasn't an event. It was a practice, a short list of small, repeatable actions done daily that quietly compound the same way a small habit of saving money compounds into wealth, or a small habit of lifting weights compounds into strength. Happiness, it turns out, works exactly the same way. So let's break down the 7 habits, starting with the one almost everyone underestimates. If you had to guess right now, what do you think habit number 1 is? Drop your guess in the comments before we get there. Habit 1. They name the good before bed. Every night before sleep, happy people do something that takes less than 60 seconds. They name, out loud or on paper, 3 specific things that went well that day. Not, I'm grateful for my family. Too vague. The brain skips over vague things like it skips over background noise. They get specific. My coworker laughed at my joke in the meeting. The coffee shop had my order ready before I even asked. The rain stopped right when I stepped outside. Here's what's actually happening neurologically. Your brain has a built-in bias towards scanning for threats. It's ancient survival wiring. Left unchecked, it will replay your worst moment of the day on a loop as you fall asleep. Naming specific good moments forces the brain to override that loop, deliberately, every night, like resetting a scale to 0. Psychologist Martin Seligman ran this exact exercise across thousands of participants. Within 1 week, measurable happiness scores rose. Within 6 months, the effect was still holding, not from anything external changing, just from noticing what was already there. Habit 2, they move their body without a goal. Notice something about the happiest people in almost every study. They move daily, not to lose weight, not to hit a number, just to move. A walk after dinner, stretching in the morning, gardening, dancing badly in the kitchen. The unhappiest people, by contrast, often treat exercise as a punishment for existing, something to earn food, or fix a body they're ashamed of. The happiest people treat movement as a conversation with their own body, checking in, not correcting. There's a term for this in psychology: intrinsic motivation. Doing something because the doing itself feels good, not because of the outcome it produces. Studies on blue zones, regions with the highest concentration of people living past 100, found almost none of them exercise in a gym. They just live in a way that makes movement unavoidable. Walking to markets, gardening, climbing stairs, movement woven into life, not scheduled as a chore. Ask yourself honestly, when's the last time you moved your body just because it felt good, not because you were tracking it? Habit 3. They protect 1 hour from the world. This one is uncomfortable, so let's just say it plainly. The happiest people are not more disciplined than you. They're not stronger-willed. They've simply drawn a hard line the rest of us keep negotiating with. 1 hour a day, sometimes just 30 minutes, completely free from notifications, feeds and other people's opinions of them. No specific activity required. Reading, sitting outside, cooking slowly, doing absolutely nothing. Here's the part that surprises people. It's not the phone itself causing the damage. It's the constant low-grade comparison, baked into scrolling. Someone else's vacation, someone else's body, someone else's perfect life, delivered in an endless, algorithmically optimized stream. Marcus Aurelius wrote to himself, privately, nearly 2,000 years ago, that we hold power over our own minds, not outside events. He couldn't have imagined smartphones, but he understood the exact mechanism perfectly. The mind left unguarded absorbs whatever it's fed. The happiest people guard that 1 hour like it's sacred, because to them it is. Be honest in the comments. Could you go 1 hour today with your phone completely out of reach? Let's see who actually tries it. Habit 4. They say the hard thing early. This habit is less obvious, but researchers who study relationships call it one of the strongest predictors of long-term happiness that exists. Happy people say the uncomfortable thing early. Instead of letting resentment quietly compound in silence. That comment hurt me. I need help. I can't keep pretending I'm fine. I disagree, and I want to talk about it. Unhappy people, by contrast, often mistake silence for peace. But silence isn't peace. It's just delayed conflict, gathering interest. Psychologists studying long-term relationships found the happiest couples weren't the ones who avoided disagreement. They were the ones who addressed friction within days, not months, while it was still small enough to hold in one hand. This takes real courage. It feels safer to swallow the discomfort. But swallowed discomfort doesn't disappear. It just changes shape and comes back heavier. Habit 5. They give something away daily. Not money, necessarily. Attention, time, a compliment, help carrying something. A genuine, how are you really? There's a well-documented phenomenon researchers call the helper's high, a measurable spike in well-being that occurs not from receiving kindness, but from giving it. One study tracked 2 groups. One spent money on themselves. The other spent the exact same small amount on someone else. The group who gave, even strangers, reported meaningfully higher happiness. By the end of the day, the self-spenders felt nothing extra. Seneca wrote that no one is more unhappy than the person constantly counting what they lack. The daily habit of giving something, however small, flips that counting mechanism in the opposite direction, from lack to enough. Happy people, in other words, practice being a source, not just a drain. Habit 6. They let themselves be bored. This is the habit almost nobody wants to hear. Happy people are, on average, more comfortable being bored than unhappy people. We've built a world engineered to eliminate every idle second. A red notification the instant a line gets long. A video cued the moment silence appears. But boredom isn't empty time. It's the exact condition your brain needs to process, integrate, and make sense of everything that happened to you. Neuroscientists call this the default mode. Network, a system that only activates when you're not being stimulated, and it's directly linked to creativity, self-understanding, and emotional processing. Constantly filling every gap with stimulation doesn't make you happier. It just delays the processing your mind actually needs to do. The same way ignoring a stack of dishes doesn't make them clean. It just makes tomorrow's pile bigger. The happiest people let some moments simply pass, uneventfully, without needing to be filled. Habit 7. They end the day with one honest question. The final habit ties everything together. Before sleep, happy people ask themselves one honest question. Did I live today the way I actually wanted to? Not, was I productive? Not, did I achieve enough? Just, was today mine? This isn't about self-criticism. It's about staying in conversation with your own life, instead of sleepwalking through it on autopilot for months at a time. Epictetus taught his students to review their day this way every single night, not to punish themselves, but to stay awake to their own choices. Because the version of you who checks in daily is nearly impossible to drift far off course. And the version who never checks in can drift for years without noticing. So here are your 7 habits again, quickly. Name the good before bed. Move without a goal. Protect 1 hour daily. Say the hard thing early. Give something away. Let yourself be bored. End the day with one honest question. None of them require money. None of them require permission. None of them require your life to look different than it does right now. That woman in Denmark, the one we mentioned at the start, isn't happier because her life is easier. She's happier because these 7 things are simply how she lives, quietly, every day, without fanfare. You don't need a bigger life to be happier. You need a handful of small, deliberate moments, repeated daily, until they become who you are. If this gave you something to think about, tell me in the comments which one of these 7 you're going to try first. I read every single one, and if you want more videos like this, grounded, practical wisdom you can actually use, hit subscribe. It helps this channel more than you'd think. Thank you for spending this time with me today. I'll see you in the next one.